So since yesterday's episode, we've had an international break, and during that international break, a manager got sacked from a top team. I saw it as a possible opportunity, applied for the job, got given an interview, and now they've just offered me the job. It's time to say goodbye to Crystal Palace. Right, welcome to episode 29. Happy Friday, everybody. Presumably if you're one of those Monday to Friday people, you finish work, you've got the weekend off, hopefully you can have an awesome time watching football and doing family stuff and whatever else. But let's get on with the video. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this is going to be a big one. Like I said in the intro, we got an email come through saying that someone had been sacked from a top club, and I just saw it as an opportunity to apply for a job at a club that's bigger than the one we're at the moment. Not necessarily doing as well as us, but definitely a bigger club, a bigger team. And since you were last with us, we've only played against Manchester United in a 2-1 win at Old Trafford. Mohamed Sham and Jackson Mercado with the goals in that game. We do have Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and we have a semi-final tie against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, as well as obviously our remaining league games. Now, there's no point trying to extend the suspense any longer. So if we go to the inbox, Inzaghi sacked by Arsenal. That's the email that came through. I looked at that and I thought, I'm going to apply for it. You know, I probably won't get it. We didn't get the Man United job, but we'll apply for it anyway. So as you can see, they received my application the next day. 6 days later, they gave me a job interview, and now they've offered me a job. So what that means, if we have a look at our finances here, we've got 2 million in the transfer budget. We've got a £2 million wage budget. If we go and have a look at my profile, I'm currently on £55,000 a week. I'm a 4.5-star reputation manager, Continental Pro licence, but £55,000 a week and a £2 million wage budget is what you need to focus on, really. If we then come over here, I'll just delete this because there are other emails there, of course. We've got the next gen for the Wonder Kids. We'll have a look at that probably in tomorrow's episode. The board request a meeting to discuss my future. I'm not going to attend that meeting. Arsenal have approached me with this offer. £226 million transfer budget with a £7 million wage budget, more than 3 times the wage budget we're getting at the moment, and £105,000 per week wage, basically doubling what I'm getting at the moment. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to hand over to Past Me, who attended the job interview with Aidan at Arsenal, and he'll show you how the job interview went. Okay, so here's the job interview with Arsenal. I'm sure previous me has explained his reasons for wanting to apply for this job, but following your application for the Arsenal job, the board have invited you to attend an interview with them to discuss the vacancy. The board are extremely impressed with your exceptional performance at Crystal Palace, which is why we have identified you as one of our top candidates. One of the reasons the board have decided to offer you an interview is because they feel you would be an acceptable fit for the club's vision for the future. This is mainly as a result of your very strong commitment towards playing a high-tempo pressing game. The interview will give you the opportunity to discuss your suitability for the role and allow us to discuss our ambitions and plans with you in more detail. So the actual questions at these interviews tend to be pretty much the same, so I'm just going to answer the same as what I normally do. Welcome, Damien. We're glad to have... We'll start that again. Welcome, Damien. We're glad you've come along to discuss our plans for the club's vision, should we decide to hire you. That's from Aidan Campbell, the chairperson. Don't know who you are, Aidan, but I'm glad you gave me the chance to speak to the club. Are you concerned that your emotional attachment to this team could compromise your ability to do the job? I'm professional enough to avoid letting my heart rule my head. I have so much passion and adoration for this club, I can bring all of that and more to the table. I mean, I like both of them answers, to be honest. I think we're going to go with the first one, though. I'm professional enough to avoid letting my heart rule my head. Why do you want to leave your current job after doing so much good work there? I mean, to be honest, it's not a case of I want to leave, but the next step up is a club like Arsenal. Look, worldwide reputation. It's time for me to take the next step, and hopefully that can be here. I feel I've taken them as far as I can, and that all parties will be best served by a change of scenery. I believe I'm in the position to take the positive momentum I've built up recently and use it to hit the ground running here. I mean, I'm just going to go for the first one because it's the truth. It is the next step. Why are you thinking of making what some people would describe a sideways move in management? Aidan, have a bit more belief in the club that you're the chairperson of. Who can consider Crystal Palace to Arsenal as a sideways move? I mean, it is in the fact that we're in the Champions League. We're fourth in the Premier League. You know, we're actually doing better than Arsenal. I'm keen to keep progressing, and I'd love the opportunity to do that here. There aren't many differences between the two teams. I have no concerns about making such a move. Do we ask for a chance or do we convince? I'm just going to say I'm keen to keep progressing, and I'd love the opportunity to do that here. Are you perhaps looking to move on from your current job while things are going well and your stock is high? I mean, that is part of it, I won't lie. I've done well there, but it's time for me to move on and take the next step. I've done a good job there, but I've also taken them as far as they can go and feel the time is right for a new challenge. I mean, that's not really true. I plan on bringing all that good momentum with me to hit the ground running. Next step. It's got to be, isn't it? Are you the right manager to lift us from our solid platform and take us to the next level? I believe I have a reputation that sufficiently answers that question. I know I can get the job done. Whoever gets the job doesn't need to make wholesale changes at the club. It seems to be set up well from my perspective. I think the club is doing pretty much as everyone expected them to. Hang on, what? Are you the right manager to lift us from our solid platform and take us to the next level? I actually think the team has been overachieved. No, they've not been over. I believe I have a reputation that's sufficient. No, you can't really answer for that one. I know I can get the job done. We just do that. We would like to know, when do you intend to establish yourself as a club manager? Are you able to take charge now, or do you need more time to join us? I'll do it immediately. How would you feel about working with our current director of football, Paul Mitchell? Yeah, I'll work with him. Yeah. As part of the recruitment process, we are willing to allow you to request changes to your current backroom staff. I'm not bringing any of this lot with me. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got some pretty decent staff, actually. But I think we'll just go with, I won't need a budget, as I don't plan on making any changes. Right, so their long-term vision. Play high-tempo pressing football. Done. Develop players using the club's youth system. Well, hopefully Arsenal have got a good youth system. Play possession football. Yeah, we do that. Work within the wage budget, as always. Sign players to sell for profit. Yeah, fine. Minimum 4-year contracts to first team players. Maximum 1-year contracts to players over the age of 32. Maximum, I mean, I don't want players over the age of 30. Maximum 3-year contracts to players over the age of 28. So if we have a player over the age of 28 that's going to be in the first team, do we give him a 3-year or a 4-year contract? Let me know in the comments. End of the current season, be competitive in the Champions League. Record a Premier Division top half finish. I mean, I'm assuming in terms of the current season, they're not going to judge me on the current season, considering we're 10 games from the end of it. And I don't believe they're in the Champions League either. Wow. Record a top half finish last season and the next season win the Premier Division. Okay. So then it's continued to win the Premier League every year after that. I mean, yeah, if you say so. I mean, it's quite scary that we're at that point in the save, if we get this job, where we have to win the Premier Division. We have no expectation for you to fulfil for the current season. Well, thank God for that. Expectations and budgets will be set in the build-up to next season if you are hired. I understand. Do you have anything to request for us to consider? No, I'm good, thank you very much. That concludes the interview, and we will leave it. So if we have a look over here, Pep Guardiola is the favourite for it at 4-1. We'll move on a day to see whether we become the favourite. I doubt we will be. I mean, Pep Guardiola's manager. PSG are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Why does Pep Guardiola want to leave PSG? Job centre, it's still Pep Guardiola. Okay, let's go back to present day me, current me, and hopefully he'll let you know whether we got the job or not. Right, so I have given this plenty of thought, and I am going to be accepting the Arsenal job offer. We'll get into more reasons why later on, and maybe in tomorrow's video as well. But I just want to have a look at this Crystal Palace squad, because leaving Crystal Palace is not an easy decision, because I kind of feel like I've made this my own. And you look at the age profile that we've got at this club, starting at 19 up here with Jason Chandler, Sergio Piscini. By the way, I'll show you the Wonder Kids. He's come third in the list of the next gen top 50 Wonder Kids. Duchesne has come first in that list. But if we scroll down to the oldest player in the squad, Mohamed Sham at 32, his contract expires at the end of this season. We're going to let him go, or was going to let him go anyway. Bradley Barcola was going to look at moving on as well. He's 30 years old. Anderson Duarte is with us till the end of next season. Again, he's lost a little bit of what he had, and I'm looking at him moving on. So over the course of the 3 years or so we've been at Crystal Palace, we've really changed the age profile of this squad. And I mean, you look at all this potential that's in the squad. I mean, if we filter it by potential, you've got what, if you go from there down to, say, the 4 stars of Kwaku Mensah, you've got 11 players in that squad that are 4-star potential or more. And then you've still got another 3 that are 3-star potential. So we've really changed the age profile of the Crystal Palace squad. Look at it in terms of ability. There's one guy that stands out above everybody else, and that's Kenta Mahara. Also, we have Martin Fernandez, who for me is one of the best right backs around. I absolutely love this guy to bits. I mean, look at him, 4.5 stars. That has really gone up. He's reached his potential. He's not got too many reds here, but he's done really well. He's 27 years old, so he's starting to get towards the end of that age profile. He doesn't have a release clause in his contract either, whereas obviously Kenta Mahara, he does have a release clause. He has a release clause of £96 million, which expires on the 1st September in 2 years' time. So we've got 2.5 years left on that. I'll be honest, I'm very tempted to go for him. You know, he's 21 years old. He's just a beast. You look at 38 goals and 19 assists in 63 appearances for Crystal Palace. He has been amazing. And yeah, just generally speaking from this squad, there's so many players here that I just absolutely love, you know, and I'm trying to think of someone that's been here when we got here. I think it's Valentin Barco was here when we already arrived. But if we look at, I'm just going to try and find myself quickly because I want to have a look at how long we've definitely been here. 2030 we arrived, so yeah, we've been here for 3 years. We obviously had a season in the Championship. We had now 2 seasons in the Premier League, and in that time we've got promotion to the Premier League. We finished 2nd in the Premier League. We're currently 4th and in the quarterfinals of the Champions League in our first season. We have had an amazing time here at Crystal Palace. So the players that are listed as Wonder Kids in the game that we've got at Crystal Palace, we have 3 of them, 3 in the top 50. Duchesne, who's finished 1st, Piscini, who's finished 3rd, and then Jackson Makado, that's finished 21st. You might be asking yourself, where is Kenta Mahara? Nobody older than 19 makes this list. So you have to be under 20, and he's now 21 years old. So Duchesne, for example, we'll have a look, see if he has a release clause. Yes, he does. It's of 80 million. He could be someone we do try and bring with us. He can play right, left, or up top, as we know. He prefers to play on the left. 3.5-star current with 5-star potential. He is still listed as a Wonder Kid. He's still going to be improved. He's 19 years old. Sergio Piscini, I doubt I'll try and bring him with me, even though, again, 3-star current, 5-star potential. He's got a lot about him. He does have a minimum fee release clause, again, of 80 million. The one thing I will say is I've done a really good job at Crystal Palace of ensuring we protect our young talent with big release clauses, because even with a transfer budget of 226 million, I'm not going to be able to afford to go bringing in Duchesne, Mahara, Piscini, and anybody else. I'm probably only going to be able to bring one with me, and that one would probably be Mahara. But if we get back to the approach from Arsenal, so as you saw in the job interview, they want to play high tempo pressing football, develop players using the club's youth system, and play possession football. 1 and 3 I can definitely do. I need to know what the youth system looks like. They want me to work within the wage budget and sign players to sell for profit, which basically means if we sign players, we do need to try and sell some of them for profit to hit that. Informational objectives, 4-year contracts of first team players. You know the rest of it from the job interview. I won't go through all of it. End of the current season. I mean, they want me to be competitive in the UEFA Champions League. They've already been knocked out of that. They were knocked out in the round of 16 by Manchester City. Record a Premier Division top half finish. I think they're 8th at the moment, so it should be possible. Competitive in the FA Cup and competitive in the Carabao Cup. They're not in any competitions at the moment. We knocked them out of the FA Cup in the last round. So it's only really the Premier. But this might actually be next season. It does say here, end of 2033-34 season, which technically is next season. They want us to win the Premier Division. I think that's quite a leap from potentially not even qualifying for Europe in any way, shape or form to winning the league. You know, that if they stick to wanting that, we could be getting sacked next season. You know, we have to be a bit wary of that. But then basically, once we do win the Premier League, they want us to carry on winning it. We do need to keep the Director of Football in place. That's fine. I love using the Director of Football anyway. And yeah, I don't think there's really anything more to say than we are going to start the negotiations. We could delay or walk away, but we're not going to do any of those. So we'll start the negotiations. Here's the contract start date. Job must be manager. Well, yeah, I want to be manager. They're offering me a 3-year contract on £105,000 a week. I would like 110,000 so I can say I've doubled my wages. But I'm going to be greedy and go for 115. Oh, okay. Maybe I should have gone higher. So £115,000 a week on a 3-year contract. We're going to finalise that deal, exit the talks, and when we click the next button, we are going to become the manager of Arsenal. And I think that is something we will do in Monday's episode. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful time, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you on Monday for the start of a brand new era at Arsenal Football Club.